Welcome to the latest in my series of MediaTel interviews with marketing leaders, in which we talk to them about their media choices and their habits in this rapidly changing media world. Today I'm joined by Emma Scott. She's the Managing Director of Freesat, which is the free-to-air satellite service. It's a joint venture between ITV and the BBC and offers over 200 channels, many in HD. Emma, welcome. You've led Freesat since the launch. Before that, you were at the BBC working directly for Greg Dyke on the launch of Freeview and the trial of video on demand. What's it like launching a media brand as compared with, say, an FMCG product or perhaps a financial product?
I think launching something like Freesat is great because actually you're talking about television. I mean, we're selling TV to people, which is a lovely thing to do. It's great fun, it's about entertainment, and we're giving it away for free because Freesat's a subscription-free platform. So I think to be able to have the great assets from programmes, you know, whether it's Bake Off or Strictly or Britain's Got Talent, and then we're repackaging those for people through a set-top box or via a mobile app. You know, that's a great thing. You've got great collateral to be able to talk about.
But you've got lots of really big competitors. I mean, Virgin and Sky and so on.
But it's great to have competitors like that. I mean, you know, to be out there in probably one of the most competitive markets in the UK at the moment, selling great TV products and services. And we sell really well. You know, we sell 40,000 boxes a month, people going into retail, buying online. And they're buying the idea of what Freesat's about, not just the receiver or a built-in television. We're very lucky we've just done a deal with Panasonic, and our new FreeTime service is going to be built into the entire Panasonic range, both in Freeview and the Freesat modes, whether you've got an aerial or a dish going forward. And that's testament to the quality of the service that we have. So it doesn't just have to be about paying for channels because we're subscription free, but we've got great recommendations. We've got a mobile app, we've got a backwards TV guide, we've got on-demand players, and you don't have to pay in order to get those. You have to buy the one-off purchase of the product, but then it's yours for life. And actually, we then try and build our relationship with customers going forward by sending them emails, letting them know what's coming up on TV that week. Those sort of recommendations, those value-added digital skills that we have.
What sort of media do you use to reach customers?
I mean, we started off doing print at the beginning, then we went into TV, and we still do print and TV about TV is still the greatest medium. So when we're showing programs or clips or showing the actual set-top box and the user interface and so forth, television is a great medium to be able to demonstrate that. But print works very well for us as well. You know, you can get messages across about not having to pay a subscription very clearly in print, and increasingly digital has taken a role. So whether that's paid for or owned digital, we do a fair bit of paid for, and we can target effectively around that. But we do a lot of owned and branded content of our own. So I talked about having Your TV Week is our weekly email, which has got great pickups written by a TV critic. And then we link that to the mobile app, and we have our own recommendations where we then talk about the programmes that we think people might like. And all of that, of course, is an incentive to buy a Freesat box or a TV and have that at home.
How has the huge explosion in the number of tablets affected you, again, as a TV and media brand?
I think tablets are great for everyone. You know, now the figures are saying a third of the UK have got a tablet, and ownership amongst children and young people is much, much higher. I think tablet usage for TV watching is always going to be relatively limited because of the size of the screen. I think it may replace second sets in bedrooms, particularly for younger people or children. But I think things like our mobile app, which we launched in January, we had 130,000 downloads in the first 14 days, blew all of our expectations. And actually, at least half the people that have downloaded it because they want a really easy to use digital TV listing service, which we expected but didn't expect the volume. And they want to know what our TV listing recommendations are as well. And now we can interact with those customers and those people who are interested in Freesat going forward. So I think it's an interesting...
But you can't actually watch Freesat on a tablet, can you?
You can watch some of the on-demand services on a tablet, but streaming of TV programmes is still restricted by the broadcasters. And I think over time, for both rights issues, obviously commercial issues as well, I think over time that may change. But linear television viewing through your aerial or satellite is still the best and most efficient way for the broadcasters to deliver to consumers.
And how are you using big data? I know people have different views about what big data means, but obviously you must have an awful lot.
I think big data is a lovely term that lots of people like talking about. We have data coming out of our ears here. We know how people are using their set-top boxes, where they're going, what they're recording. We know within the mobile app how they're making their choices. We know what time of day people are choosing to record. So 8:02 and 9:02 in the evening are the big points of the day when people are recording. And it's interesting to see, for example, when we make a recommendation of a TV programme, 8 out of 10 of the recommendations we make are then recorded. So they're it's very interesting sort of early steps for being able to use usability data, so how people are using our products. In terms of sort of customer data, we capture data through various different means, and we then try and address those people with whether it's competitions or offers, or increasingly this branded content I talked about. But I think the beauty of television and things like the increased use of Twitter, and so much talk on Twitter of television programmes, I think it's early days for all of us TV platforms trying to work out what our role is as that last bastion between the broadcaster producing the channel or the programme and the viewer themselves. We're actually the last point in the step to viewing. And I think we've got an interesting role to play going forward about what that's about.
Do you have a good relationship, do you think, with your customers on Twitter?
I mean, I think as a TV platform, we have 90% advocacy. We've got the highest advocacy rating of any TV platform. So it means you'd recommend it to your neighbour or your friend or your sister. Really high. So that's people saying, I really like this service and I think it's good enough for you, Torin, to buy at home. So having those high ratings mean a lot to us, and we work very hard at keeping them up. So that's making sure you have a relationship post-purchase with the customer, not just pre-purchase. So we do a huge amount driving people into store through brand marketing, but then having that relationship, and that's where customer data management becomes very interesting. But even in our one-to-many world of us going out there and talking about picks, for example, anyone can pick that up whether you're a Freesat home or a Freeview home or one of our competitors' homes. I think Twitter's very interesting. We know all the stats about how much of Twitter is people talking about TV programmes, and we see the spikes in Twitter traffic in the evenings and so forth. I think Comcast in America have done a very interesting thing. They have an app where a programme is being tweeted about, and you can click the button and it will change channel for you to turn to that programme. I think things like that are magic if they really work and people really want to use them in the future. I think having that conversation, is that the role of the channel brand? Is that the role of the platform? I think we're all levelling out at the moment, trying to work out what we're all here to do. What I do know is I think TV platforms and the future of them, we are the thin level, the aggregator and the recommender of content choices to consumers. And I think the role of TV platforms will remain very strong in the future.
How closely do you work with your agencies, your media agency and your creative agency, again, in this new digital world?
So we use Havas as our main partner, and we use Now, who are our creative agency. So, those relationships have changed over the years as well, and we have other digital agencies that we work with. With Havas, they provide us a huge amount of input and know-how and knowledge about the industry. And obviously we're owned by two broadcasters, so we know a fair bit about how the trades are going and how that works in terms of TV buying. Same with print and so forth. I think making your choices about which agencies you use does a lot, and certainly the marketing team that we've hired in here have come from media backgrounds themselves. I think as well, increasingly we've got an editorial team upstairs and a digital team that create our own branded content.
What do you mean by branded content?
So when we talk about TV programmes, and we'll write about TV picks, and we'll sort of extend something like Sherlock. If there's a new series, we'll do an extended piece around that, and we'll push that out to our customers and potential customers as a reason to purchase.
And what about your own media habits? What do you like to use and watch and so on?
So I'm quite broad. I love my TV. It's my heritage. It's my background. And I have, my die-hard programmes. The Good Wife remains my favourite programme from many, many series. I'm sure I should come up with a British one, but Sherlock I do like as well. I'm a print lover still. I still get a subscription to The Guardian. I'm probably one of the last people that does. I really do enjoy my print read every day. And I get a lot out of that in terms of, I learn a lot about advertising, what people are talking about. Digital, I'm a big Twitter user. I love going on looking at our Facebook page every now and again. I'm more of a viewer of Facebook than a participator in it. But yeah, I'm across the board, and I subscribe to magazines, so I'm a bit of a media junkie.
You didn't mention radio?
I listen to a bit of radio. I listen to radio in the car. I listen to the Today programme every morning. That's, again, my BBC training. And I don't really have time to sort of engage in the plays and so forth that I'd really like to. That would be in my retirement. And I listen to commercial radio in the car.
Emma Scott, thank you.
Thank you.